I'm Kidman Williams with Matt James from the incomparable Blacktop Mojo here on SoundLink Magazine.
Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
So how you doing, man? How are things going?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. You know, we got to talk a little bit before we started this, and it's a lot of fun. You were telling me how about Tampa and playing the show out in Tampa in Ybor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how was the crowds there?
We had a good crowd. That was our first time in Florida, and we played 4 shows. I think we had to kind of make up for not playing in Florida yet. So we did 4 in a row. You know, we did Orlando and Coral City and I can't remember where else. Sarasota and Tampa. But we had a lot of the same people follow us around to all 4 shows, which I thought was crazy.
That's your Florida for you. Those are your Florida fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Florida's really passionate. I don't know how much you dealt in Tampa, but I mean Tampa's a big metal town.
Yeah.
Huge. They got all kinds of bands out of here. But that's good. That's good that you guys got a little taste of it. You guys got to get back here soon, though. Now we're just gonna kick it off with your new album coming up here. But you guys are doing pledge music to fund the thing. What made you go through that avenue?
Well, we're still an independent band. We started our own record label for Burn the Ships to kind of push that to radio and stuff, and we decided to stay independent. You know, we kind of didn't have much to bring to the table as far as, sitting down with the record label. We didn't have much to offer. You know, we hadn't really built our following up yet. We hadn't done a whole lot of touring yet, so we wanted to kind of build it, from the ground up ourselves before we, signed our whole life away to a label.
Right. No, I get that. And you know what? And I do love the fact that, there are a lot more indie bands now, and partly because the music industry are a bunch of sharks, but
right. Not that labels are bad. I would like to put that out there. There are good labels out there that treat their bands right, but
there are. No, I'm not saying they're all.
You hear horror stories all the time, so it's better to kind of get your feet wet and learn about it. And the best way to learn about it is by doing it yourself. So,
well, I'd say you guys have done a lot more than just getting your feet wet. I mean, you guys have seriously, you've been charting on the Billboard. I mean, you had you had Where the Wind Blows, and that peaked at number 27 on the Billboard. And then, of course, your infamous cover of Dream On, which charted also at number 31 on Billboard. Is that correct? Was I correct there?
That is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Making sure.
You know your stuff, sir.
Well, thank you. I try. Anything you tackle, you got to tackle 100%. So, But now, here's a good question. Now, where were you, and what was the feeling that you had when Where the Wind Blows finally hit the Billboard?
I think we might have been at our house. We were kind of waiting to go off on our first tour. Yeah. And I think it was like 40 something on the chart, and we were just waiting to, prove it to it. You can't really see the chart, you can only see the top 40. Like, if you're part of the general public, you know, you got to have a SoundScan or whatever subscription to see the whole top 60. So we're telling our parents, yeah, it's on the chart, but they can't go see it. You know what I mean? We're like, God, we gotta get it up past 40. You know what I mean?
That's a bummer.
Mom, Dad, I swear, it's on the chart. It's the real thing. But no,
we're not lying.
Cool. What's that?
Say, we're not lying, Mommy. We're not lying.
Yeah, I swear, this is a real job. No, but yeah, it was a pretty cool feeling. We were just about to take off on our first tour and get in the van and go around the country for the first time, and it cracked the top 40. So
nice. So I mean,
and it kept on climbing a little bit, which is pretty neat to see.
Where were you when you hit 27? Was that a huge whoa?
Yeah, Yeah. When it cracked top 30, I think we might have been up in upstate New York. We were playing a radio show, and they were having a golf tournament, and we hijacked some golf carts, and we played ultimate frisbee, but with golf carts. So it's kind of like a poor man's version of polo. You know?
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
You're my kind of guys, you know that?
Yeah.
You guys know how to party.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was free cold beer and golf carts. We did get in trouble for that, but, you know, it was fun.
Yeah, whatever.
Worth it. Worth it.
It's totally worth it. I mean, you're a rock band. What do they expect, right?
Exactly. Don't invite the rock band to the golf
course. And like, here's a good question. You know, I haven't heard any. I did a lot of homework on you guys, and, you know, I haven't heard anybody ask. And I feel like I'm going to be the one to ask it here.
I dig it.
So, what do you think it'll take, being that you're in the studio now, right, for the new album?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think it'll take to get and crack that number 10? Or have you not really thought about that at all? Is that a goal?
I mean, it's a goal, but it's not really a goal you can push for, I guess. I mean, that's to say, like, you can't really make music and be like, this is going to be a top 10 hit right here, you know? Otherwise, your music's going to suck. You just got to make it to where you, like, enjoy it, I think. And then hopefully that translates into other people enjoying it.
Absolutely. Passion breeds followers, man. Passion breeds followers. Yeah. That's something that always stuck with me for sure. And
it may be cool, but if it never cracked the top 10, then, you know, whatever.
Right.
They say Led Zeppelin never won a Grammy, right? So
this is true. That is very true. Well, there's a lot of bands that really didn't get a lot of acclaim from the, you know. And
you don't do it for the trophies, man.
No, you do it for the peoples, of course.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And here's a funky question. Because I've heard it, and like I told you, I did my homework on you guys, you know. Plus, I've been following you personally. Like, you're one of the bands that, you know, I've been doing the music journalism thing for a while. And you guys, I have to say it, you're one of the bands that I actually truly enjoy. You know?
Thank you.
Like,
that does mean a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands out there. I'm like, yeah, I'm going through the motions for you, you know?
Sure.
But you guys, I thoroughly enjoy you. And, but, you know, through doing some more research and things, like everybody, how do you put it? How do I put it gently? I guess I could put it gently, but let's just point blank. You're a Southern boy, so we're going to point blank it. You know, a lot of people suck your dicks off. You know, they do. And, but in a lot of them, I keep hearing these same buzz phrases. Like, you know, they're sitting there, oh, Blacktop Mojo, they're the future of rock music, or, you know, the saviors of rock and roll. Like, what goes through your head when you read that, or, you know, somebody says that to you or anything?
That's cool, man. That's pretty much it. I guess. I mean, I guess they really liked our stuff. I don't know.
I mean, you kind of take it with a grain of salt, basically.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you don't put you're not the type to put a lot of worth in it.
That's the same thing as getting a bad review, you know what I mean? I mean, people can say we suck. I mean, that's one guy's opinion. That doesn't mean that everybody thinks that, you know?
Right. Well, of course not. I was just curious because, you know, it's very much
it's cool. Like, it pumps you up for a second, and then you got to kind of be like, all right.
Right, and just kind of go about your day the same way you were doing it. Now, are you guys, are you all, like, born and raised in Palestine, Texas?
Texas? We're all born and raised. Well, three of us are born and raised in East Texas. I grew up actually in a little town called Rusk that's even smaller than Palestine, about 20 minutes from here.
Okay.
And then our guitar player, he grew up in Lindale, which is about 45 minutes from here. It's the home of Miranda Lambert. I don't know if you follow country music. But
oh, I do.
I do.
Yeah.
He's from her hometown, so his Billboard if we ever get famous, will be probably significantly smaller than hers, which is hilarious. Homer Ryan Kiefer.
Hey, you never know. You might be bigger.
Yeah.
You might hit that point. I mean,
right.
Keep it up. You keep it up. You keep up the way you're going. You will. I think. I do. Now,
appreciate it, man.
Now, how you said you grew up in Rusk? You said.
Yeah.
Okay, and much like there's a lot of Texas musicians, a lot of them, and
oh yeah, a lot of great ones.
A lot of great ones. Like one of my favorites, absolutely, is Buddy Holly. Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, for sure.
I love metal, but I love music. But Buddy Holly was an interesting one, and I guess my question is how does living in such a small town like Rusk influence how you write music?
Well, there wasn't really shit else to do but sit in my garage and play guitar. So I guess I got
good answer.
Okay at it, I mean, I was just kind of forced to do it because that was kind of one of my hobbies and something I enjoyed. So
right,
and I didn't have many distractions from it. So
oh, that's good. That's interesting. Yeah. And that's a good answer. But what I'm kind of getting at is how does it influence? Because you're the primary lyric writer, right?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. And how does, what I was trying to get at was more like, how does it influence what you write about? I guess would be a better phrasing.
Well, I had this conversation with somebody else that, we're pretty reactionary, kind of. We write about stuff that goes on in our lives or, we don't just kind of make up a whole new story. Like, I'm not that creative, so I think it just write about things that happen, heartbreak and,
okay.
Success
so you're just writing about the
everything
human...
in between,
Right. So you're basically just writing about the human condition, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that translates small town, little town, city, suburban. You're just talking about the real stuff,
yeah.
Have you guys pretty well stayed away from politics?
Yeah, I'm not a big political guy, for sure.
Right.
You're not going to change anybody's mind. I don't think. I think I'm one of the least equipped people to get in a political debate with somebody. So I really,
At least you know that. Unlike
I'm a musician. I'm not a politician. So
right. Hey, at least you know it. A lot of people won't admit it.
Yeah. Who really gives a shit about my opinion, really?
Right. No, I get that. And let's jump back quick and talk about the new album a little bit. Have you guys gotten close to being done with this thing, or is it?
It's still in the pretty early stages. We've got about, I think, 8 or 9 demos done so far.
Okay.
And we're continuing to write right now. It's kind of in the writing stage, and hopefully record over kind of November, December, and kind of be finished with it next spring. That's our goal right now. So.
Right. Well, that's good. And so you're talking, you have 8 or 9 songs. Like, are you guys approaching this one with any particular, how do you put it, goal or not so much a goal, but do you kind of know the direction of this album? Can you give us any little tasty little treats about it so far?
Yeah, man. Say all the cliche stuff, like, it's gonna be heavy, man. It's gonna be heavy, but and it is gonna be heavy. But I think we're experimenting a little bit, kind of getting some different sounds, and
okay.
But you can still tell it's us. It's not like a complete change of direction by any means. It's kind of building off our last album and trying to make something better,
Right, absolutely. You want to you don't want to alienate your already fans and whatnot.
It's not going to be a EDM or trap music album by any means.
Don't want to go that Finger 11 route, huh?
Sticking with that heavy rock and roll,
Definitely. And you guys do it well. You guys do, and I love the Southern style on it. It's beautiful, and I think a lot of people have been grabbing onto that. Now you guys have been on the road for Jesus. You guys have been on the road a long time, right?
Been a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, aside from little breaks, but you guys have been pretty steady on the road from what I've seen.
Yeah. We pretty much just now kind of slowed up. Been doing these festivals and stuff, and working on the album. But yeah, we've been on the road since I think the end of April, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And what was one of your more memorable shows with this run?
We were in South Bend, Indiana. This guy's probably going to get tired of me telling this story, but we were in South Bend, Indiana, and we had a little kind of VIP after party on our bus, where we just give everybody drinks and play a little acoustic guitar and kind of hang out, after the show. Sure. And we're sitting there talking with this guy and his wife, and this guy's sitting to the right of me. I'm sitting at this little table, and this guy's sitting to the right of me on our couch, and his wife's sitting, further up in the front. So I'm talking to him, and we take a shot of whiskey, and then I turn to talk to his wife that's up at the front of the bus, and I turn back about 30 seconds later, and he's passed smooth out in our bus. And so we had to carry him off the bus, and his wife's a good sport about it. She was laughing, She was like, he never does this, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure he doesn't.
So, right.
Sure.
No, but she ended up taking him to the ER to make sure he was all right, and the doctor wrote on his ER note, make better decisions with alcohol and be more careful in pursuing your rock star career. Like that on his ER note, and they ended up coming to some other shows, and they copied it and they framed it for us, and we got it hanging on our wall now. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually did not come across that story. That's great.
Yeah.
That poor sap.
That's definitely one of my favorite.
Yeah. Keith Richards, he is not, huh?
No. He's getting there. We're training him up, He only passed out that first time. So.
He'll get there. Right now, he's about a mick. Oh Lord, that's awesome. So you guys have toured with a lot of big bands too, right?
Yeah. We've been out with Blackstone Cherry, Shaman's Harvest. Played a show here and there with Pop Evil, Gemini Syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Bon Jovi.
Trying to think some other. Yeah. We played with Bon Jovi that one time.
That one time. They only gave you one show?
Yeah.
Oh, what a bunch of bums.
Yeah. Well, it was a contest. We won a contest,
Oh, is that how it happened?
We got to open up for Bon Jovi. Their people picked us out of everybody in Texas, actually. That's pretty cool. We never thought we'd win that.
Right.
But the most nervous I've ever been in my life.
Now, did you get to hang out with them at all, or were they pretty much
Yeah, we got to meet John and talk to him for 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, cool.
And,
that had to be.
He told us a story about the first time they opened up in a big arena for a band. They opened up for ZZ Top in Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
And he said, they went to go play their first song, and Richie Sambore's guitar didn't work. So the whole crowd just started chanting, ZZ Top, ZZ Top.
Oh.
And yeah. And he's basically like, I took my guitar off, I gave it to Richie, we played the show, it went fine. We were all sweating bullets. And he was basically like, it can't go any worse than that, your first time being in an arena,
Well, you should never say that, but...
Right. But
God
made me
knows.
feel a lot better, I think.
I think so.
Going on, but
yeah, they've had a decent little career, right?
yeah. I mean, he's done all right for himself, despite the opening fumble there. No, just kidding.
Right.
But
we're sorry, John.
Yeah,
we're just playing.
We went from playing to about 200 people to playing in front of 20,000 in one night. So that was pretty big leap.
Oh yeah. But, well, what's the?
It went pretty good, man. His crowd treated us really good. I came really well, I guess.
And what was the biggest difference between playing for a couple hundred versus 20,000 people? What's the biggest difference when you approach the stage?
Like the noise, man, the energy. It's just the bigger the mob, the easier it is to get everybody riled up.
Right.
I think,
Oh yeah. And with Dream On, okay, we're talking, because obviously you had to buy the rights to record it and whatnot.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever been reached out to by Aerosmith or anybody from it?
No. Our publicist hit them up originally when we had released the song.
Yeah.
And reached out to their publicist, and their publicist said, "Well, I have a hard enough time getting them to give me quotes for their own tours, so good luck."
It's a good answer from them.
But hopefully they've seen it, and hopefully they don't hate us.
Oh, I figure if you haven't heard from them, they're probably okay with it.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
I mean,
True.
No news is good news sometimes.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, let's see. Here's a good one. Like, because you guys are pretty recently famous, I guess it would be a way to say it. It hasn't been very long since you guys were sitting there in the ditches and the clubs and the dive bars playing.
Sure, we still do that. So.
Well, that's all right too, man. That's all right too. That's good stuff. It's a lot better anyway. I mean, sometimes the dive bars are better. They just are.
Oh, true.
Very
true.
Absolutely.
That's some fun times in some dive bars.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. A lot of fun times in dive bars.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember any of them, but I know I had fun.
You ever have what's one of the most horrific stories? Like, I've got some serious, from being a band back in the day, I've got some serious horror stories and some funny ones.
Yeah.
What's one that sticks out in your mind doing the dive bars?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to promote them, you can say the name.
Right.
I mean, I don't care.
I'm really trying to think, man.
It's really that foggy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I have a good time pretty much every night. I don't really. Even the bad nights are good nights, But I think. Well, our first night of the tour this year is our first show with Chuck, who's our new guitar player, and his strap and Cat's strap broke in the same song, and then I think Kiefer's amp messed up at the same exact time. So it was literally just all hell broke loose at one time in the middle of the set, and they all had to carry their shit off stage and fix it, and then I just picked up an acoustic guitar and filled time for about 20 minutes while they fixed all the stuff going wrong. But that was a pretty bad.
That was a pretty bad one.
Story, I guess.
No fights, no nothing.
Didn't really know what to do. Okay, everybody look at me while we fix all this shit that's going wrong. No.
That's good. Have you got a title for the new album yet? Or no? You haven't even gotten to that point.
We haven't even gotten that far, man. We're pretty slow. We should probably think one up here pretty quick.
Right.
But, yeah.
It's getting to that
now
point, huh?
Bring it up. I should now I know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day now.
Right. Now here's a good one, and I think we can end it on this one because we're a little over the 30-minute mark now. I think that's what my boss wanted was 30. So,
Yeah.
but here's a good question because you guys have kind of went an alternative route towards becoming successful. I guess this will be a little more of a couple part question, really.
Sure.
What would you say to the garage bands that you were not too long ago? You know, you were a garage band too.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give a starting band who's, you know, a workhorse band who really wants to succeed?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Don't. No, I'm just kidding.
See, that's why I tell people about being a writer. Don't.
Right. I mean, it's just got to be something that you really love that you can't give up, because there's going to be times that you want to give it up and quit. There's going to be a lot of times that you want to quit, but it's got to be something that you want the most. Like, it's got to be your top priority. I mean, like, none of us have families or jobs or, you know, anything.
Right.
And our former manager told us, you know, you pretty much have to be a loser to make it as a band. You got to have nothing else going on for you. You know,
You got to be a loser.
Yeah, I mean, as far as in you know, society's view, I guess. But yeah, you got to want it, and you got to keep your head on your shoulders. And you know,
Right.
too many people dive off into drugs and alcohol or women or whatever, man. Like, you got to kind of keep your goal above everything else.
Well, Matt, it was an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Yes, sir.
We were talking to Matt James from the amazing Blacktop Mojo. Thank you again.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.